Greetings to all. Welcome back to online classes. Today we are going to learn lesson 9, Age of Revolutions. Age of Revolutions is second part. Okay, that is a French Revolution. Before that, in the last class we learned a lot of things from this lesson, Age of Revolutions. That is the American War of Independence, colonies of European powers, and plantations and slave labor, increasing incidence of taxation, Townshend Acts, Boston Tea Party, First and the Second Continental Congress, Battle of Bunker Hill, French Alliance, and so on. Okay, and today this is the second part of lesson 9, that is Age of Revolutions, the French Revolution. Okay, second part is what? The French Revolution. The French Revolution started in 1789. Okay, French Revolution started in 1789. The ancient French monarchy ruled for 140 years. Okay, 140 years. Louis XIV and the Versailles Palace, Louis XIV and the Versailles Palace had the greatness of France. Okay, had the greatness of France. In 1789, the power began to shake. Louis XVI had summoned the States General in May 1789. In May 1789, it consists of three classes. It consists of three classes, namely the clergy, the nobles, and the commons. Okay, the clergy, the nobles, and the commons. The commons refused to bow to the nobles. The commons, they are not willing to bow to the nobles or to obey the order of the king. They proclaimed themselves a national assembly. Okay, they proclaimed themselves a national assembly and gathering on a tennis court. They had an oath, that is Urudimodi. They had an oath not to dispose, okay, not to dispose until the king gave them a constitution. Until the king gave them a constitution. That is the French Revolution began, we can say. So that is thus the French Revolution began. Now, causes for the outbreak of the French Revolution. Okay, causes for the outbreak of the French Revolution. First one, political causes. Okay, first one, what? Political causes. Louis XV. Okay, Louis XV ruled for 59 years. Okay, how many years? 59 years. He did not learn any lesson from the English Revolution. Okay, did not learn any lesson from the English Revolution, and also beheading of Charles I. Beheading means cutting the head. Okay, beheading of Charles I. In 1774, Louis XV was succeeded by his grandson Louis XVI. Okay, Louis XV was succeeded by his grandson Louis XVI. He was under the influence of Mary Antoinette. Okay, Mary Antoinette. She believed divine right theory of kingship. Mary Antoinette believed divine right theory of kingship more than the king. Okay, more than the king. According to this theory, the king was the representative of God on earth. King was the representative of God on earth. Both the king and the queen were hated by the people. Okay, both the king and the queen were hated by the people. Next, economic causes. Second cause, that is economic causes. During the French Revolution, economic crisis was there in France. Okay, economic crisis was there in France. The French treasury became empty because of the 7 Years' War that entered in defeat. Because of the 7 Years' War that entered in defeat. The financial condition of France became worse. Okay, worst condition was there because of the participation of France in the American War of Independence. Okay, because of the participation of France in the American War of Independence. The royal people and the nobles of the Versailles Palace, the royal people and the nobles of the Versailles Palace led a luxurious life. Okay, led a luxurious life. But the poor people suffered a lot because of poverty. Okay, poor people suffered a lot because of what? Poverty. So the people accept the new ideologies of French philosophers. New ideologies of French philosophers. The finance minister Turgot, Necker, Callan and Brain. Okay, Turgot, Necker, Colon and Brain suggested the reduction of royal expenditure, the royal expenditure and collect taxes from the nobles and clergy also. Collect taxes from the nobles and clergy also. So the ministers were dismissed. Okay, to meet the resource crunch. Okay, to meet the resource crunch, the government borrowed heavily. Okay, the government borrowed heavily. Nearly half of the revenue was paid as interest. Half of the revenue was paid as interest. Next, third one, social causes. Okay, social causes. The peasants suffered a lot because of a bad harvest. Because of a bad harvest. It resulted in the rise of prices of bread. Okay, rise of prices of bread. There were hunger riots. There were hunger riots and fresh peasant risings. Fresh peasant risings. Many people became professional beggars. Okay, many people became professional beggars. There were 11 lakhs of beggars in France. 11 lakhs of beggars were there in France. The peasants were hungry not only for food but also for land. Okay, not only for food but also for land. They hated clergy and nobles because they enjoyed privileges. The clergies occupied the important position, that's the prominent position, and they collected tithe. Tithe means the name of a tax. That is 1/10 of the produce was collected. 1/10 of the produce was collected from the common people. That is a tithe, the name of a tax. And the nobility was the land owning class. Nobility was the land owning class. They collected feudal dues from the peasants. Okay, they collected feudal dues from the peasants. Their land was tilled by the peasants. Their land was tilled by, that is uduvad. Okay, tilted by the peasants. In the middle class and the peasants together formed the third estate. The middle class people and the peasants joined together and they formed the third estate. The peasants paid the taxes of daily taxes, that is land tax. Second one is gabelle. Gabelle means salt tax. Okay, so land tax as well as salt tax, and provides free labor for the construction of public roads. Free labor for the construction of public roads. Next, inspiration from French philosophers. Inspiration from French philosophers. One of the most famous and prominent writer of France, he was Voltaire. Okay, Voltaire. When imprisoned and banished, he had to live at Ferney. Ferney, that is near Geneva. Ferney near Geneva. Voltaire, Montesquieu and Rousseau. Okay, Voltaire, Montesquieu and Rousseau criticized the then existing conditions in France. Okay, the then existing conditions in France were criticized by Voltaire, Montesquieu and also Rousseau. Okay. Voltaire was a writer. Okay, Voltaire was a writer and activist. Voltaire was a writer and also an activist. He criticized the church. Understand? He criticized the church. And his most famous work was Candide. Okay, he wrote Candide. And next we will see Rousseau. Okay, next person Rousseau. Rousseau was another great writer like Voltaire. Okay, like Voltaire, Rousseau was a famous writer. His ideas played an important role in the people of France for the Great Revolution. Okay, for the Great Revolution. He wrote the book that is known as a social contract. Understand? The social contract. social contract. In his book, he said, man is born free, but is everywhere in chains. Okay, man is born free, but is everywhere in chains. Next person, Montesquieu. Understand? He wrote a book that is the Persian Letters. The Persian Letters. One more book was there written by Montesquieu, that is the Spirit of Laws. The Spirit of Laws. And this Spirit of Laws defined liberty. Spirit of Laws defined liberty. And encyclopedia came out in Paris. Paris is the capital of France. Okay, Paris is the capital of France. This was the articles by Diderot. Understand? This was the articles by Diderot and Jean d'Alembert. Jean d'Alembert. These philosophers opposed religious intolerance. Okay, these philosophers opposed religious intolerance. They opposed political and social privileges also. They opposed social as well as political privileges also. Next we will say American War of Independence. Okay, American War of Independence. The American Revolution broke out in 1776 and ended with the establishment of American Republic. Ended with the establishment of American Republic. The French participation in the American War of Independence affected the French Revolution. Okay, affected the French Revolution in two ways. First one, it cost the French treasury heavily. Okay, it cost the French treasury heavily. And Lafayette, understand, Lafayette, who participated in the American War of Independence, came back with the democratic ideals. He came back with the democratic ideals. Goals of French Revolution. Okay, goals of French Revolution. First one, the fall of Bastille Prison. Fall of Bastille Prison. The critical moment came after the king. Okay, the critical moment came after the king shut out the commoners. After the king shut out the commoners. The king tried to use force. Okay, the king tried to use force. But his own soldiers refused to obey his order. His own soldiers refused to obey his order. Then Louis XIV tried to get foreign regiments, okay, foreign forces to shoot down his own people. Understand? He tried to get foreign regiments to shoot down his own people. So the people started a revolt in Paris. Okay, so the people started a revolt in Paris on 14th July 1789. 14th July 1789. They stormed the Bastille prison. They stormed the Bastille prison and set free all the prisoners. Set free all the prisoners. 14th July is celebrated as, okay, 14th July is celebrated as the National Day of France. Okay, National Day of France. Next we will see National Assembly. Okay, National Assembly. This assembly has a moderate liberals. Okay, moderate liberals. They wanted the constitution on the model of England and America. On the model of England and America. Their leader was Mirabeau. The leader was Mirabeau. The assembly was controlled by middle classes. The assembly was controlled by middle classes. There was no representation to the peasants. There was no representation to the peasants and the common masses. Understand? No representation was there. The peasants as well as the common masses. This assembly abolished serfdom. Okay, feudal privileges and feudal codes. Okay, serfdom, feudal privileges and also feudal codes. Okay, all these were abolished by this National Assembly. By this National Assembly. Next, the Assembly passed a Declaration of Right of Man and Citizen. Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen. The Assembly brought many reforms. Okay, this National Assembly brought many reforms. The vast property of the church was confiscated. Vast property of the church was confiscated. Okay. Due to the high price of bread, the crisis intensified in Paris. Crisis intensified in Paris. The women of Paris, okay, the women of Paris marched to Versailles Palace. Marched to Versailles Palace to demand bread from the king. to demand bread from the king. They forced the king, okay, their women forced the king and the royal family to go to Paris with them, Now flight to Venice, The king decided to escape from Paris. Dressed himself as a valet. Valet means velikaran. He escaped with his family. Understand? He escaped with his family to Venice. But he was recognized by a postman. And brought back to Paris. Understand? Arrested by the national guards and brought back to Paris. He became a prisoner in Paris. Okay, he became a prisoner in Paris. Now, Girondins and Jacobins, two sets of people. Girondins and Jacobins. The moderate rebels wanted to keep the king as a limited monarch. They were called Girondins. They were called what? Girondins. The harder Republicans are there. The harder Republicans were known as what? Jacobins. So, Girondins and Jacobins. Constitution of 1791. In September 1791, the National Assembly framed the first constitution. It provided for constitutional monarchy. The legislature consists of 750 members. How many members? 750 members. Those who owned the property had a franchise. Franchise means voting right. The king continued to be the executive head. But his powers were limited only. Understand? His powers were limited only. The people, those who stormed the Bastille, the Bastille prison did not satisfy and they created a Paris Commune. Understand? They created what? Paris Commune. This commune became the rival of the National Assembly. Next, emigres and the Revolutionary War. Emigres and the Revolutionary War. In August 1792, ordered an attack on King's Palace. Ordered an attack on what? King's Palace. And the king ordered shooting by his Swiss guards. But the king was disposed and imprisoned. The people of Paris anchored by the action of the Swiss guards. And under the leadership of Marat, they hunted down the supporters of monarchy. About 1,500 suspected enemies were arrested. And they were killed. This incident is called September Massacre. What is the name of that? September Massacre. Again in the same September month, the French defeated Austrians and Prussians. The French people or France defeated Austrians as well as the Prussians at the Battle of Valmy, Valmy. This saved the revolution. Next, National Convention and the Reign of Terror. The first action of the National Convention was the formation of a republic. The trial of Louis XVI was taken up and he was guillotined. The new Republic of France built a strong army. A new republican calendar was created. For France. And a 10-day week was followed. Each day was named after seed, tree, flower, fruit and also animal. Metric system based on kilogram and meter was followed. Understand? Metric system based on kilogram and meter was also formed. In September 1793, law of suspects was passed. Okay, law of suspects was passed and 22 Girondins were killed. So reign of terror started. Danton, Herbert and Robespierre. Danton, Herbert and Robespierre were the main leaders of the National Convention. Robespierre controlled the Committee of Public Safety, and killed his enemies. There was a massive peasant revolt, that is in Vendée. Understand? But when the revolt was suppressed cruelly, there was a strong movement against Christianity. Okay, there was a strong movement against Christianity. But Robespierre and Danton did not approve this movement. Herbert and his supporters were guillotined. This caused the first split in Jacobean party. Okay, so split was there in Jacobean party. Danton and others protested against Robespierre for sending many people to the guillotine. But they were also executed. Under the law of suspects, many people were killed. Okay, under the law of suspects, many people were killed. On July 1794, the National Convention turned against Robespierre, and he was also guillotined. The reign of terror entered after the death of Robespierre. Okay, after the death of Robespierre. In 1795, Directory, that is Directory was created. Then it was replaced and Consulate was created. Napoleon Bonaparte was the first consul. The consulate was abolished by Napoleon Bonaparte and he became the Emperor of France. Okay, Anyhow, French Revolution failed and it shattered the dreams of the poor people and thinkers. Okay, But the principles of liberty, equality and fraternity, continued to influence the generations to come. Okay, With thus, I finish today's session and I meet you in the next session with the next heading. Okay, bye.